Well, hey, it's good to see you again. My name is Jaden Ben, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about 10 albums that I'm in search of. So, we're going to start off by what is playing in the background just over there, and that's actually going to be an album that was on this list at one point in time, but I actually have since cleared it in recent months. That is Apocalypse from Agoraphobic Nosebleed. This is the band's 2008 studio album on Relapse Records. I own the Crystal Clear Family Friends pressing. I managed to get it from Relapse themselves for actually a smaller price than I thought it was going to be. So we will cover this in detail in a future episode, but this was on the list, and I figured what better way to do this video than have that in the background. So, we are going to begin with a couple of hypotheticals. These are releases I assume exist out there in the world somewhere. I have never seen pictures of it. I have not seen any proof of these existing, but if these do exist, I do want them in my collection. So, there's actually just going to be two, and they're both skinless releases, foreshadowing our demise, which I covered in my last Wax Showcase video. I'm looking for the test press of that. And for Skinless Trample the Weak Hurdle the Dead, I'm also searching for a test press. I have not seen any proof or any, acknowledgement that those exist, but, it'd be cool to have. I pretty much own every other Skinless test press and clear variant, except for Trample the Weak Hurdle the Dead on clear. But, you know what? I feel like that's a good thing to keep an eye out for if they do exist. I'm hoping one will turn up somewhere, but, Okay, well, we're going to start off with a band that I'm only missing one album for, just because it's been out of press for a long time. I'm looking for Cannibal Corpse, A Skeletal Domain. There's a good number of colored pressings and pressing variants throughout the years, but primarily I am just looking for the Blood, and Pus variant from 2014, which was 200 numbered copies. The Gold 2014, which supposedly is 200 copies, but I saw somewhere that it was 180 copies made it through the pressing. So 180 or 200 copies, give or take. And finally, for that one, I'm looking for the 2014 Tour Edition on bronze vinyl, which is 500 copies. I'm also just patiently waiting for Metal Blade to reissue it. So it's 10th anniversary this year. I'm surprised they haven't done it. Okay. We're going to move on to another album that has just been very influential for me and my band, and that is going to be Sodom with Code Red. Finding a copy of this is surprisingly not that difficult, but expensive. There's only been 2 full pressings of it. The record came out in 1999. The first pressing of it that I'm looking for is the first 2007 press, which is 500 numbered copies of it. It's Night of the Vinyl Dead records. And then I'm also looking for any of the 2017 variants, whether that be the black copy, which I don't believe had a specified limitation. There is a blue, red, and white splatter, a blue icy marbled, and a cool red with black and gray marbled, all of which are 500 copies each. That one is going to be a little bit difficult. I have really only seen a couple copies go up for sale, but they're in the range of about $150 to $200, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. We're going to move kind of into the prog sphere a little bit here with Catatonia, Night is the New Day. There were, I believe, 3 pressings of this album. There was a regular black 2009 press, which sold out very quickly. There is the white 2009 press, which I'm looking for, that is 1,000 copies. And then there was the 10th anniversary edition in 2019. It didn't have a specified limitation, but that is on red vinyl with an alternate artwork. I'm very much looking for those. I'm kind of bummed I wasn't collecting when the 2019 10th anniversary press dropped. I kind of missed that by the skin of my fingers because I didn't start collecting until about 2020. So, at least vinyl-wise. I was collecting CDs from 2016, so fingers crossed that pops up at some point, and I think if any of these do, I will be showing them in future videos. So, next up, we're going to talk about another, probably one of my favorite albums of all time, and that is Opeth's Ghost Reveries 2005 on Roadrunner Records. How many times do we have to do this, Roadrunner, before you realize that people want these albums? Please press them. We'll give you money if you press them well. Specifically, only 3 editions of this that I'm after, and keep in mind I can be any of these. I just want a copy for a decent price, or I'm not going to fork over $400 for it. The brown 2013 pressing, which was 300 copies. The gold 2013 pressing, which was also 300 copies. And then there was a clear with black smoke variant in 2018 that was 4,000 numbered copies, but for some unknown reason, every single one of those 4,000 copies seems to sell for about $80 to $90. So I'm surprised a record with that high of a limitation sells for that much, but I will never understand that. Okay, we're gonna go into a record that is kind of a good luck, because these were all super expensive, and that is I Declare War with Amidst the Bloodshed. That album came out, I believe, in 2007. It was reissued on Wax Vessel Records. My brother actually owns a CD copy of it, which goes for about $100. So for the Wax Vessel pressing, I am going to just say any variant from that pressing. I know there were some 25s, there were some 50s, and there were some 100 copy editions. Every single one of those variants is absolutely insane, and to be honest, I'll take any of them. So just going to chuck that a wide blanket out there. Kind of go back to the prog sphere with Enslaved Esau. There was only one pressing of this. That is the gray 2004 pressing on Back on Black Records, which has an unspecified limitation. You think for the 20th anniversary, you think they'd reissue it, but no. I think it was Candlelight Records that dropped it. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to get into a little bit of a longer one now for this one. Dissection. Storm of the Light's Bane. I understand there's been a bunch of bootlegs over the last 3 or 4 years, but I think any self-respecting extreme metal vinyl collector is going to want any of these pressings, so I'm just going to name off a couple of them, and I'm just like, hey, if I can find these, fantastic. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but you never know. I've seen weirder things happen. The first press from 1995 on black vinyl is probably the holy grail of any extreme metal collection. That would definitely be a crown jewel in mine. The picture disc from 1996, which was limited to 1,000 copies. That one was also later done in 2013, which also had 1,000 copies. I believe that was done by The End Records. But either of those would be worth an addition. There's the blue 1998 copy, which is 500 copies, 500 units. That one I would say is probably one of, if not the most highly sought after variant of this LP I'm looking for. I just love the light blue and the contrast, and the fact that it's a colored vinyl before the 2000s is always a big positive in being one of my earliest colored vinyls in my collection. It was reissued in 2006 on a double LP with a remixed second disc. That was done in 2006, and it has an unspecified limitation. That would also be one I'm after. There is also the purple variant from 2014 from The End Records, which is on 500 copies. There's also a Die Hard purple and black split, which is 200 copies, and I believe it comes with a back patch and a poster. That purple and black split would also be very, very high on that list. So basic, I'm just going to say any of those. If any of those seem to find their way into my collection, I am all here for it. At some point I probably will pick up a bootleg. I've got a little series planned for bootlegs that we may do here in the near future. So I'm hoping to get a copy of that in time, and we can actually talk about it. We can talk about the record a little bit. It's just one of my favorite black metal albums of all time. Probably actually the first black metal album I ever listened to. So the fact that it's so difficult to get a copy just blows my mind. Okay, I've got three more to talk about. The next one I mentioned in my discography's I Will Never Complete video. This is actually probably one of my favorite albums of this group. I'm looking for Obituary's Executioner's Return, their 2007 full-length I actually picked up the album. It was the clamshell box, which was supposedly numbered to 666 copies. I got mine used, so I don't have the sticker. I don't have the numbered sticker, and I do not have the poster that comes with it, but it does have the clamshell box. So that already in of itself is kind of a cool find. But specifically for vinyl, I'm looking for the red or the picture disc variants, both of which have unspecified limitation and are both done on black records. Again, this was another Roadrunner issue of them not pressing anything. So, Roadrunner, can we solve that, please? Okay. These last two are going to be outside of the realms of studio albums. The next one is Meshuggah with their original 1989 demo, the first press on vinyl by Garageland Records. I already own the demo, but it was the reissued artwork on white vinyl. I am looking for the original black copy from 1989 with the alternate cover, the original cover, which you can actually see on the screen here. And finally, rounding off this whole video, is going to be a Cannibal Corpse bootleg from Reek of Death Records entitled The Beginning of Cannibalism, the band's very first show from 1989 in Buffalo, New York. There are 3 total pressings of it. One of them is a test press. I will just kind of push that out as wishful thinking. But the other 2 are the purple and the baby blue splatter, which are both limited to 250 copies. That one seems to fetch a good amount of money online, at least on eBay. Keep in mind we cannot buy them on Discogs because Discogs does not like unofficial bootlegs. So I'm hoping a copy of that will maybe turn up at a local record store or somewhere in the ether, and I'm able to get a copy for a decent price. So for any of you vinyl collectors watching this video, I challenge you to go ahead and give me 10 of your albums that you are looking for. Any variants. You can talk about what makes the album so special. I've actually borrowed this idea from the Accusation Network here on YouTube. Very cool creator who I've been a massive fan of. So this one goes out to him as well. I'll be doing an update of this video probably in about a year's time, and we'll see how many of these I have. Maybe we'll do Revisited in about a year, and then we'll do another video of this. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay metal. I'll see you next time.